And it is Monday, and it is toute seule, all alone. I'm not all alone because, of course, I've got the wonderful Richard behind me, and I've got the SPTV family joining us as we speak. Floods and floods of people are coming in to see what's going on. But of course, I do have to address the missing component. Karen's not with me today. She's not with me today because she's on her way back from Spirit Seekers and couldn't make it in time. So I do hope that everyone who attended Spirit Seekers this weekend has had a wonderful, wonderful time. Gathering together is always really, really important. It's about bringing people together. Oh, it's not. Okay. Spirit Quest. Spirit Quest. It's a good job I've got him with me, isn't it? Spirit Quest. There are so many, you see, you just can't always get your head around it. So she's on her way back from Spirit Quest. So I do hope everyone who was there with her had a wonderful time. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, had a few little dances here and there and everywhere. But of course, we know that Kate was there as well. We have got Kate May joining us later on. She did send us her video, which is wonderful. But of course, it is all about coming together, which is exactly what we're doing here. And so thank you all for joining us here on SPTV. We are live. It's Monday morning. It's 10:36, streaming to the whole visible universe for those that are able to get a signal. You know, we say things like that. Oh yes, we're streaming out to the universe. Sometimes I can't even get a signal in my own living room, but there you go. We'll see what happens. But it's great to have everyone joining us here this morning to start your day. We've got loads coming up today. We've got announcements. We've got special reports and updates. We have got competition winners and competition processes to announce. And of course, today we have got me. But of course, Richard's in the background looking after me, and we're on Zoom, so I needn't be alone because somebody might come on for a reading, mightn't they? But there we are. Today we are going to have a wonderful morning, uplifting you and the spirit world because we're here to bring everyone together. And I am going to kick off now and say a few hellos if anybody's awake and anyone's listening. I know I had a bit of a lay in this morning. There you go. Speaking of which, good morning, Mother. Linda Brown says, "Morning, you up there, Nick?" Yeah, just about. I'm here. Richard did notice that I was a bit tired this morning. uh, Kylie Grigg. Hi, good morning, and a wavy hand. Good morning to you. Welcome along, Nolene Parker. Of course, thank you for reminding me. I must also say good evening, friends, too, because we have people in the southern hemisphere watching too. Julie Green, hi from CI. I can't remember where that is, but I'm sure. Let me know. Let me know. Kelly Rocket, hello, Richard, Karen, and Nick. No Karen this morning. Sorry, Kelly. Andrea 54 Hector, hello, my spiritual family and friends. Good morning. Terry Louise, good morning, Nick and Richard. Also, good morning to Sophie and Emily. Good morning to all threes of you. Welcome along. Good to see you. And it's also really, really good to see a wonderful lady watching who is a new host on SPTV, Ashley Oliver, the Reverend Ashley Oliver. Good morning, my darling. Good morning, Nick, Richard, everyone watching. Yeah, going to say, Ashley, if you want to come on and plug the show, you know the code by now. Come and say hi. We can have a catch up. You're more than welcome, of course, Ashley, to come along and join us. Say hello. Tell everyone about the new show. Rob Keeble Finch. Hello. Hello, Rob. Nice to see you again, my friend. Welcome along. We'll see what the spirit world has to say today. But yes, if anyone does want to come on for a one-to-one reading, we are doing oh bless Terry Louise. Good morning from Sophie and Emily. Hi girls. If anyone wants to come on for a one-to-one on Zoom, Richard will post the link in the comments. Of course, That doesn't mean that you guys at home who don't want to come on Zoom won't get a message, because, of course, Spirit will decide who, when, why, and where, as they always do. Good morning, Wendy Lindsay. Morning. Hello, darling. Good to see you. And yes, so if you do want to come on, you're more than welcome to. But if you don't worry. It doesn't matter. Bernadette Pryle, good morning from Bognor Regis. Hey, the King's favourite. Good to see you, my darling. Serendipity 589. You are not alone. I am here with you. Richard can sing that to you, Nick. He isn't singing yet. Oh, here we go. Ah, and usually he sounds so angelic. Um, Ashley says, bless you. I'm working away at the day job and listening to your honey tones. I was just listening to some honey tones too. No worries, darling. It's lovely to hear you, see you listening in. Christina Cheeseborough, hello, my first time. Oh, wow. Welcome along for the first time. Welcome to the family. Because that's what SPTV is. And I think it's a brilliant community to be a part of. So you're more than welcome, darling. Amber Bailey, good morning, everyone. There's just so many people saying hello. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm getting serenaded by Richard. And, what more could you want on a Monday morning? Eh? What more could you want? Christine Davis, good morning, Nick. Good morning, Christine. Good to see you, my sweet. Jan A, hi everyone. Greetings from Slovakia. I know Karen will be disappointed not to have seen you. Nicola, morning, Nick and Richard. Good morning, Nicola. Good to see you. Welcome along. And Terry Lewis with his lovely serenading voice, lol. Yes. No, he can hold a tune. He can hold a tune. I have to be fair. What he does with it is another story. I'm joking. I'm joking. Eunice Pinks, good morning, darling. Hi. Now, I've got to say, Eunice runs a shamanic drum healing circle, and they had an amazing day yesterday. Supposed to be there, late again. Chalet Crozier, hi, I'm a newbie on your live. May I please have a reading? Well, how it works is that Spirit will draw me to give readings to whoever needs one, who is watching at points throughout the entire show. People can come on to Zoom for a reading directly face to face, or Spirit will decide at some point, hello, there's somebody here, I need to come through, and I will give messages out for people to answer to if they don't want to come on as well. It's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, so wherever you are, Spirit will know. Somebody at the moment is watching on the app. Did you know that? Must be psychic. Lulu, good morning. The problem with on the app, you can't comment on the app, can you, Richard? You can't comment on the app, so you'd still have to have your computer open to send me messages. But I know somebody's watching on the app. Melinda McMahon, teeth. Melinda Mahone, good morning. Welcome, darling. Good to see you. And of course, welcome to everyone who is watching, who is sitting at home or at work. Shh, I won't tell anyone if you don't. Anyone who is sitting in the car, anyone sitting in the living room like Sarah Tink Weston watching YouTube on TV, but here on the phone to comment. That's another good way of doing it. And Candy Casper, Sydney Hart. Right, okay. People do love to trick me out. Candy Casper, Candy Casper. I was going to say Sydney Hector Jersey as well, but there you go. Hi, my first time. Also, a very hard anniversary today. Looking forward to seeing what may come. Do you know what? It's funny, really, because days. We all say days have no meaning, but they really, really do. And it's interesting because the earlier part of the year and the latter part of the year are always heavy filled anniversaries for myself and my family, and a lot of people as well. Do we notice them more? No, it's just that winter is a ridiculously painful time. We feel down, we lose our um, um, vitamin D, so we struggle to get that happy hormone kicking in. And plus, winter is a tough time, so we do have a lot of anniversaries at this time of the year. It's kind of like our um, our lives are bookended by this really, really cold, dark time. But what I can promise is that springs are coming. My neighbour was planting snowdrops over the weekend. The buds are starting to form. I've even heard that there is some blossom forming on some trees locally, which is like way too early. Thanks, Candy. Just call me Candy. Just call me Candy. I like to try and say people's names, but it's really important to note that this time of the year is difficult, but it's transitory of the moment, and the moments will pass, and we can continue to live our lives. And I know I'm getting deep, and it's not even gone quarter an hour into the show yet, but it's really important that we come together in our difficulties and our strives. And this time of the year is one of those times where we really do need to share the emotional body heat. Um, Serendipity 589 says my daffodils and snowdrops are out. Yeah, it's a sign that life is starting to renew in spite of it all. And that's what we must do. We must follow nature. And remember that Julie Caswell will always be sharing a sunflower, no matter what time of the year. Good morning, Julie. It's about following nature and realizing that the dark time is starting to squidge in again. The light time is starting to expand. And in so doing, we get more vitamin D, more serotonin, and our happy hormone is flowing. And we will feel better for it. But that's another reason why people like me and all of the other hosts that are on SPTV are here, because we do need a little bit of help. And it's not us that give it. We are just the telephone exchange. We are the ones who carry that information through. And our loved ones do send messages and signs and portents to help us through the dark times. Terry Louise says, I do like spring, love seeing all the beautiful flowers coming out. Absolutely, absolutely. And it's about to be booming, booming and blooming. But hello to everyone who is watching, and I haven't had a chance to say good morning to. I'm saying it to you now. Good morning. Good morning, Carol Phillips. Good morning, everyone. Let's uplift ourselves with Nick and Karen. Well, just Nick this morning because she was at Spirit Quest, but she's been having a good old wild time. And I know that we're going to hear all about it on Wednesday when we are back together, of course, for our midweek uplift. So, some really important announcements as we continue into the show. We have got, of course, coming up on Sunday, a really exciting new show. We've been talking about the new shows a lot, but it's because we've just had so many and it's been brilliant. And obviously, we had Wendy and we had Ashley commenting a little while ago. They present or host a new show that started on SPTV for women by women. Now it's time for the boys. And when it comes to the boys, you ain't got a better group to work with than the wonderful Neil, the wonderful Tony, and the lovely Phil on a show called Round Table. Here it is. Look, it's such a lovely graphic. Doesn't Richard do well? It is a spiritual conversation. It's a spiritual debate. It's a spiritual discussion. And those three together, it's amazing. Really, really is amazing. It's going to be a great show. So please do join in and support the round table. For those that are long-time viewers of SPTV, you will know that round table is a particularly favourite format of Richard. And has been in existence before. And I tell you, he's been trying to bring it back since even I started joined SPTV. It is a brilliant, brilliant show. It's going to be amazing. And those three guys, you're going to have a whale of a time. So do join in and watch. Good morning to Carol Livermore. Good morning. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. Um, Welcome to your birthday show then. I seem to be singing happy birthday to a lot of people lately. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to rupture your eardrums, Carol. So round table on Sunday. Do stay tuned and enjoy that. It's going to be amazing. Now, speaking of, oh, and Christina Cheeseburger, it's your birthday tomorrow. Wow. We'll have a wonderful birthday tomorrow. It's wonderful. See, this is the thing. As well as difficult anniversaries, there's also reasons to be happy we can find. Terry, I look nothing like Marilyn and I sound nothing like Marilyn. I think that the closest that you could say is a comparison between me and Marilyn Monroe is that nice short little white dress that I've got in the cupboard that I stand over a fan with. But I'm not going into that. I'm not going to say anymore. I don't want to get savaged off. Um, Other announcements. Okay. Oh, Eva. Good morning, Eva, all the way from Sweden. Good to see you, my darling. Now, here's another really, really good one. It's a little bit regional specific, but if you are in the Havant area this week, you have got the opportunity to go and see David Trainer. There's a picture. Look, there he is. Lovely guy. He's doing an event in the Havant Rugby Club on Thursday, isn't it, Richard? I can't quite see. There we go. This Thursday in the Havant Rugby Club, we have got a wonderful, wonderful opportunity there to go and see the wonderful David Trainer. So if you are interested and are available, do go along and support that wonderful, wonderful event. Uh, is it starts at 7, finishes at 10:30, and it's bound to be a great, great night. So do go along and have a good old support there and a good old night out, actually, because the one thing I know about people like us is that we do know how to throw a proper party. Um, just don't scatter for anyone who got that pop culture reference. So, excuse me while I just clear my throat. We are going to be announcing some prize winners today as well. For those that joined in SPTV's awesome, awesome birthday party last week, speaking of throwing a proper party, I'm terribly sorry that I missed the evening gig because it just looked amazing. I was on catch up the next morning. I will defend myself and say that I was told to keep the questions simple just to expedite things. Um, there's a certain gentleman who is in one of the squares who's going to get it when I see him. Bless his heart. I thought he was brilliant. I am perfectly fine, though, thank you. And I don't need any help when it comes to questions or my mental health. Most of the time, bless him. It was great. It was hilarious, and it was nice to be ribbed, especially in my absence. And that was part of the fun for me is watching me get the Mickey taken. Although I am concerned about that. Yes, hello, Wendy. Speaking of, I am concerned about the what would be so funny about Humpty Dumpty falling off a wall. Um, see, I was watching, but no, I'm glad everyone had a wonderful time. I know it was certainly a pleasure and an enjoyment to watch all of the upliftment, the laughter, and the joy, even the ribbing from my perspective. But there are some prizes to be announced. And the first one, which is an hour mentoring with Karen, that's going to be announced when she's back, so she can do the announcement. Stace's birth chart book will be announced later on today. And that just leaves the book that I have offered to donate to. Sorry. Oh, I thought Minty's was done. Oh, okay. Right, okay. We're going to announce Minty's winner a little bit later on, and we're also going to announce the on tonight so he can announce this. There's a little bit of a change round going on. Talk amongst yourself. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, darlings. Minty's going to announce his winner tonight on his show at 8 o'clock. And a little bit later on today, I'm going to announce who wins the book. And then they can get in touch, let me know where it's going, and they can tell me which one they want. Because there is options available. And I did gather most of them together. There is one like that. There's the healing book, or there's the spiritual journal that's available too. But you get to pick which one you want, and I will send it to you when I announce you later. Tara Conroy, yes, I am doing readings today. I'll be doing them throughout the show, in betwixt and between, and also people can come on via Zoom to have a one-to-one as well. But we also have a few notices to get through because we don't half like giving stuff away. So there we go. Minty tonight for his winner. When Karen gets back, she'll announce her winner. Stace, her birth chart book will be announced later on, and I'll be announcing who's won my book before the end of the show. So there we go. Clara, good morning. Nick and Richard, good morning, Clara. And you know what? Speaking of Richard, Rob, we will be doing messages all the way through till 12:30. So if you either want to leave the washing, peg it out, or just go and do it in the next 5 minutes, because I've got a brief guest to bring on with me because Richard has an announcement. It's all right. I'll talk it through until you're ready, love. Don't you panic. Richard's got an announcement to make because I know that we have all been patiently waiting for the cards, the divine oracle cards that are in the process of being created. Yes, there have been a couple of delays. Rather than me try and mulch my way through it to explain fine details, Richard decided that he would come on and explain. So, good morning, Richard. Are you there?
Good morning, Nick. Good morning to everybody else as well. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Right, just quickly start off with an apology for all the people who have been waiting since late last year for the delay in the Divine Guidance Oracle Pack. I haven't ran off with your money. I'm still here, but the holiday to Malta is next week. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
He is joking. He really is.
I don't get a holiday. What's a holiday, Nick? I spend all my time on SPTV.
I haven't had one lately either.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we should go off together and ride into the sunset.
Absolutely.
In jet skis. Just reminds me of that. Right. What was that? Only Fools and Horses, wasn't it? When he rides off on the jet skis. For those who don't know, it's a TV show in England called Only Fools and Horses.
Google it on YouTube. Google it or search for it on YouTube. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. So my apologies for the delay. It's been quite a few months now, and I'm receiving emails and private messages asking what's going on. So this is the update. I finished doing the booklet because everything within the cards has been created by myself. I've had no third party helping me. Even though Nick has offered, and I said thank you, but I'm very fussy. I want things done my way. So the booklet was created, it was sent to me, and we broadcasted it on air, and you could see that the font size was far too small. So what I decided to do is redo the booklet and send it back. But obviously my personal life gets in the way of everything. So there's delays and delays and delays. So every time I spend a few hours updating a booklet, something else intervenes, so then I have to work on that and so forth, and then it gets delayed. So hopefully I will finish it off as much as I can. Half the booklet has already been done, the reissue, so hopefully I'll finish most of that next week if I can, but all I ask is for your patience. I haven't forgotten anything. And for anybody else who's mentioned that money has been given to me, otherwise the cards would not be done. That's actually false. That's whoever's spreading this rumor is actually a lie. The funds that are in SBTV that are kindly donated are there to keep SBTV going, because as you know, we don't ask for anything. All we ask for kind donations of 33 pence. So when I came up with the idea of creating the cards, I didn't want to put my own money into it, because if it didn't work, I would have lost a lot of money, as you can understand, Nick, when you've been through this yourself. So
Yeah.
I decided to ask people for the money up front, and the money they donated, sorry, the money they paid for the pre-order would then pay for the cards. The money came in, some of my own money was put into it because we didn't fulfill the orders, and other individuals put money into it to make them work. Not one individual person has paid for the cards to be created. So the person who has been saying these things, it's not actually true, and they should watch what they say, because it could be very harmful and upsetting to other people. That's all I'm going to say on that, because there's other things behind the scenes that's going on, Nick, which is unfair to say. But just to put it out there that the cards will be done as quickly as they possibly can. And once they're done, I wouldn't make the announcement, and then I will send them out to everybody. So thank you for everybody who's been patient, and thank you to everybody who's been supportive towards SBTV.
Absolutely. I second that. Thank you to everyone who is being supportive. You know what? Everyone loves an opinion. Everyone loves to make themselves sound like they're in on it. But it's very rarely one individual person who knows absolutely everything, unless it's the person who's doing it. And when people like to make comments, they do. We're in a world of different views, aren't we, Richard? Where everyone has opinions that suddenly become set in stone. One of the things that people tend to forget is that those views, opinions, and comments invariably are hurtful to other people and their standpoints and situations. And if we were to think about what we are doing and saying rather than grandstanding and showboating, I think the world would be a much better place. So
But sadly,
more power to
that's what happens in the world, though, is it? People only
yeah,
hear a part of a story, or they read a headline. They don't read the truth.
yes,
That's with any industry, be it the
absolutely.
social media, be it to the national press, which I don't believe personally anyway. And I actually do feel sorry for all these journalists who go spend all these thousands of pounds every year to become a journalist, and then they get told by the media people, you can't say the truth. You got to we tell you what you want to say, sort of thing, which is a shame. But it happens in
Yeah,
every
and that's
business.
it really does, and that's not, and that is certainly not even, in the realms of conspiracy theories either. That is genuinely the truth. Every news organization always has things presented from a certain point of view based on the ideology of the foundation of that particular publication. It's nothing new. It's always been the case. What has changed over the years, and I'm sure you'd agree, Richard, is that once upon a time the news was about reporting information and reporting facts, and the realms of opinion were either a column or a one-off editorial. But now everyone's columnists. There's no
Yeah.
reporting of the truth. It's always from an opinionated view. And sadly, that view doesn't always convey the truth. And you're right about headlines. There are some headlines that are so dramatic, and you then read the actual article. It's like, well, I just wasted my entire life because that was nothing like the headline.
Yeah.
Um, right down to the smallest of insignificant things, like one of the things that they like to use on social media now is fans work out who did this on soap. And it's just because a couple of people on a few social media platforms have postulated their opinion. Suddenly it's news, and suddenly it's fans have worked it out and it's the truth, but it's not at all. We need to look at our points of view as precious to us, but not necessarily precious to other people. And as Tara Conroy says, what's said in the dark will always come into the light.
I hope not,
And I
because I can
totally
be a dirty little bugger. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that.
I know, I know. I see everyone at home's getting now what me and Karen get. I love it. It's all part of the fun. It is part of the fun. But yeah, our opinions matter to us. They may not matter to other people. That's the whole idea of people who come together in groups. That communion of opinion and idea and thought and conscience of groups of people coming together, that is what the actual word religion and the word spiritual actually means. A group of people coming together in common cause and intent for the purposes of their belief. Both the word religion and the word spiritual mean that. In actual fact, spiritual references religion. Um, but of course, that doesn't mean to say that we should exclude other people, and it certainly doesn't mean that other opinions don't matter. What does matter, however, is that if you are sharing something that is patently untrue, not a good thing at all. Matthew Lintott says, long time no see on here for me. Good morning, Matthew Lintott. Welcome along. Good to see you. So yes, it really is important to fact check. I think that's a modern term, but I like that one, isn't it, Richard?
It is. I like to ask people's views, including your own, Nick. What do you think about this magical word that everybody has it in them, and it's called gossip?
Gossip. Yeah. I Gossip is exactly what I said right at the beginning, Richard. For me, everyone at home, what are your thoughts? Gossip is about showboating, it's about grandstanding, and it's about I'm in the middle, I know everything, look at me. And it's that desire to I know a secret, I know a secret, when actually it's very rarely reported, as we've just discussed, in the right way. And so in my position, I look, Richard, I'm going to be honest. I know there are individuals that take the mick out of me for wearing a dog collar and being a spiritualist minister. I don't have a problem with that. That's their beef, not my problem. Um, I put a great deal of meaning and emphasis into my ministry. And one of the most important facets of my ministry is keeping secrets on behalf of others, respecting people's boundaries, respecting people's privacy. And it is keeping secrets because if someone shares something to me in confidence, I am duty bound, honor bound, both morally, spiritually, and just because it's right to not share that information because it's none of mine or anyone else's business. And people do share some really, really close and personal stuff. I don't then go running around and shouting about it or, oh, by the way, come on, you'll never guess what. You know, it's just wrong. And it's part of the healing process in this way of life in particular, and in many other ways of life, is having someone to confide in, to talk to share a truth. And if that trust is then betrayed, or a half truth is then taken around and gossiped as well, it causes, as Clara says, gossip is awful and destructive, and it can destroy someone's life. I very rarely talk about other people because I can never remember who said it's okay to say and it's not okay to say. So I just tend not to talk, and just announce things that I'm told to announce, like on here, because I get really, really, you'll have noticed that I get really, really excited when I've got a special announcement. It's because I know I'm allowed to talk about it. And so I tend to keep things within myself because that's part of my role and it's a really heady responsibility. And I think that when you've got gossips, in particular in this way of life, it really, really concerns me on more than just a gossip level because it's as Clara said, it's really, really destructive. Serendipity 589 has said there are a lot of gossips at work, and I try to keep out of it by staying silent. But sometimes I get involved, then I feel terrible for ages after.
And that's where the problem lies, isn't it? It's the third
Yes,
party. that's completely innocent on this. And the worst thing is when you say to someone, this is on my mind, I need to get it, I need to release it, I need to tell someone. And it
Yeah,
could be something so personal that you tell someone because you trust them not to repeat it. And what
yeah,
did that person go and do? They say, look, don't say nothing, but my friend, blah, blah, blah. And then that friend then goes off and tells someone else, oh, don't say nothing. So
yeah.
you've got this endless conflict of information, which is just going
Yes,
round in circles. And the person who just wanted someone to listen and to confide in have lost their faith, has lost their trust because it's gone back onto them. And they're saying, wow, why have you done that? I'm back to square one now. Why couldn't
yeah,
you just consult me, come back to me? But you didn't. You spoke up, and that's the problem. And I find, especially in this movement, in the spiritualism movement, there's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of, dare I say it, backstabbing. But I suppose it's like in any other industry, it's exactly the same. So why
absolutely.
should spiritualism be different? But if you're meant to be a spiritual person and you're on your pathway of enlightenment, let's say, then surely if you've been given this confidential information, keep your views, keep your opinions to yourself. Don't go start slandering other people off or do any defamation over comments. It's ridiculous because all you're going to be doing is hurting oneself because it's going to come back to you. It's that simple. That's
It
what I
really is.
believe anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree. And of course, it is angel time too. For those that are keeping an eye on the clock, it's 11:11. It's angel time. So obviously, that's our message of the week that we really should be taking notice of. I'm with serendipity on this. It is easy to get sucked in because there is something infectious and magnetic about secrets and truths. But the problem, Gemma Ball says, loose lips sink ships, as they say, completely agree. Because the problem is, humans are also very good at something else, Chinese whispers. And the problem is,
And it's just to interrupt you there, Nick.
as, yeah,
Yeah, you mentioned earlier on about the 111 angel number. Do you know what it represents?
I keep looking, but I always forget.
Okay, obviously you can look at the SBTV app. It's
It's
on
on the
there,
app.
isn't
It
it?
is on the app. Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's a message from, if you believe in the angels, of course. It's about being supported by forces that you cannot see, but you can. There is the relief. There's celebration, excited, but it also talks about confirmation and everything that you're doing in your guided world. So, in other words, how I interpret that is you're being guided not to say these negative things. Be
yeah,
enlightened, go forward because it'll come back. That's
absolutely.
that's how I see that anyway. So,
No, I completely agree. Completely agree. I knew there was a reason I had to mention that it was 11:11.
mm.
I always look, but I don't retain stuff like I used to do. Look, I'll be honest, once upon a time, I was a thespian, darling. And I could, memorize a script, cut 2 or 3 pages of script in half an hour. Now I can't even remember my own name, Richard. It's terrible. And I sometimes think that that's part of the process of mediumship. We do get very, very forgetful, but not everybody does. Um, but that element of forgetfulness does tend to throw up a problem because the more information is passed on in that gossipy sense, people like to embellish and add yes, but did you know that they also said this? And yes, but I've also heard that they've done that. And suddenly you've gone from I've got a rash on the back of my thigh to I'm actually the cause of all the world's ills and ails. And I have had that before. I have had that, not the rash, obviously, but that kind of flow. I mean, let's be honest. I do when I do a workshop. Every so often, I throw in a Chinese whispers, and I always pick the wrong person deliberately because if I start with that person, it's changed before it even moves to the next person. Because, as she quite rightly says, Nick, don't start with me. I'm a bit deaf and I can't hear what you're saying, so I will just make it up.
Pardon? What
But,
did you say?
sorry?
Pardon? What did you say? I wasn't listening.
Oh, oh. gets me every time. You boy, you.
boy.
You. Well, I nearly said something else, and that's the first thing I could think of that was appropriate that
We're
rhymed
live,
with
dear. We are
live.
live.
So, because we are live, I nearly said it. I didn't. Deb Clark says karma works wonderfully. Yes, it really, really does. But we have to be part of that process of karma too. Yes, there is a huge element of leave it to spirit, but if we know a truth, we should share that truth, and do our very best in a polite and understanding and sympathetic way to correct the errors of information. As I always go back to Desiderata, um, go placidly and know what peace there may be in silence. But it also says to share your truth and listen to the truths of others. And it's really, really important. Just as people get really, really excitable about sharing gossip, they don't always get so excitable about sharing the truth and correcting it. And it
Or
takes a certain,
sharing their personal life or
or
gossip.
sharing their, yeah, exactly. But the thing for me is, when it comes to correcting that information, truth isn't always sassy. The truth isn't always spicy. And we are, as animalistic beings, drawn to the spicy, and drawn to the sparkling. And that's a shame, because when it comes to correcting the truth, you have got to be polite about it, because as Serendipity pointed out, those that are sharing gossip aren't always the ones that have started it. And yes, we've got to consider that people do get drawn in, but we also have to be polite about it, because the person we're addressing might not be the one who started it. So if we treat everyone as somebody who just needs some guidance, rather than someone who needs, as my dad would say, it 8 lace holes, in the posterior, things can be fixed better. Chrissy Wheatley says, I think people that suffer with mental health, and are struggling, need someone to confide in and open up to, so they can get the help they need. Absolutely, yes. But that's where the word confide gives its answer, because confide, confidence, confidential. And that's what people forget. A confidant, as they say in the news, so-and-so's confidant has written a book. But confidant means confidential. So this is why you will very rarely hear me engaging, because I know I'm trouble, I know I'm naughty, and I know I'll get myself in mischief. So I just don't talk about anybody instead, unless in that conversation I'm told, oh, by the way, you should tell people this now, like, congratulations to so-and-so.
It's how you... Go on.
No, go ahead.
It's how one perceives the information as well, isn't it? How you see it, because it could be miscued, or whatever someone says, it can completely be taken out of content. It could be something so small. A prime example. I want people to start using their imagination here. I'm going to tell like a little story, and I need you, including yourself, Nick. And I want everybody to give me... Sorry, I wouldn't say the word want. I shouldn't be demanding. I would like everybody to get involved, if they can, with this. Please, yeah. So I want you to imagine you are walking, and you're an observer. You see an elderly lady pushing one of those trolleys, those bag trolley things. And on the top, she has her purse. Okay, and she's walking. In the background, there's people walking back and forth. There's scaffolding around a building being done. People are stopping in the street talking. People moving out of her way. And then to the left-hand side, you see a gentleman running towards this lady. Tattoos all over him. I'm stereotyping now.
Yes.
Tattoos over him. He has shaved hair. Looks very rough. He looks rather menacing, and he's running towards the lady with his hand towards her. And at that point in time, everything starts to go in slow motion. So you start to see all sorts of things. What's going on? You start to see the raindrops slowly coming down. You start to hear a dog barking in the left, which you noticed before. You start to see other things that's going on in the world around you. Can I ask everybody, what do you see with the picture I've just given you in your mind? What do you see? It's not a test. There's no rights or wrongs. But it would be interesting to hear your answers to that. And it does go on the lines of the gossip and spreading rumours and lies and using your imagination. What do you see at that point?
Absolutely. Would you like me to go first, Richard?
Go for it, yeah.
Too much potential. For me, that image is an overload of possibility. Especially the way you describe. You should be on Jackanory, mate. I really mean it. There is so much possibility and potential in that image, because it could be, from what you've described, the dog is about to pounce. It could be that the scaffolding's about to fall. It could be that the gentleman's about to stop this lady getting hit by a car. It could be that he's about to knock her over. There's so much possibility and potential. So in those situations, I tend to position myself for possibility. If someone's running to someone, I instantly look up. It's something that I've trained myself to do over the years through experience rather than anything else. Because as Margaret Bennett says, could be grandson, Rob Keeble Finch, him attacking her. There are so many different possibilities and potentials, and it is about judgment and that instant split-second decision. But when a situation like this, the first thing we're ever told in any circumstance when it comes to putting yourself in harm's way, when it comes to first aid, when it comes to that kind of thing, you've got to remember my dad was a copper. He was the equivalent of a chief inspector when he retired at 55. So I've had these scenarios thrown at me all throughout my youth. First, protect yourself. Is there any risk and is there any danger to yourself? Can you be of assistance? If not, are you going to be more of a hindrance if you get involved? And most importantly, are you making a prejudgment? Linda Brown, mother of the bride, he may be going to tell her to put her purse away. There you go. Kim Byrne, seeing if some scaffolding is falling. This is the thing. It's about potential rather than actual. And I see that the whole point of the exercise, and I love it, Richard, is there are too many possibilities for one truth to be decided in that split second as the raindrops start slowing down. You cannot compute all of the variables into one possible outcome instantly. You need to take everything in and see where the direction of it goes. Bridget Irwin says your judgment could be he sees what you see and he is rushing to warn the lady of danger, or he is the one who robs the lady. Best not to leave it to someone else. Your action is always important. Absolutely.
And there it is. There's the answer. Because everybody sees, with the response that people have been given, no one's mentioned the rain, only yourself or the water droplet. Okay?
Yeah.
But I never said rain, I said water droplet. Okay. I said the scaffolding. I mentioned the dog. All these are parts of elements what the brain foresees, what they want to see. They're not looking at the overall picture. Hence why asking slowing it down. Because when we slow our lives down and we take focus of what is going around us, we can see different options. We can listen to people's opinions, people's thoughts. But what the most important thing is the action that you take. Using that scenario of a man stereotyping of a tattoos everywhere, it looks ruggish, shaved hair. Some people can perceive that as a possible bully. I'm not saying that. Most people would see that as a kind-hearted person. That's their choice. It's down to the individual. Doesn't mean that they have tattoos that they're dangerous. Films do that, which is a shame.
Yes, they do.
And programs as well. So if we now put it back to normal, and some people got it dead right, the elderly lady is walking near a scaffolding. She's got her purse there. So the first thing that most people think of is this man running with hands up, trying to grab the purse and steal. Hence why the dog is barking. Okay. Yeah. Now, the water droplet, was that the sweat had he's running by? Was it water? You don't know. But if you carried on playing the video, for example, the man could be as simple seeing the scaffolding falling, seeing the lady running to protect someone, a complete stranger. And the moral of the story is, don't judge somebody by something you have heard, because you don't know the situation of that person's life.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that person became a hero. But someone else could see him as not. Maybe they wanted the old lady to be hit by a scaffolding. It depends how you see it. I'm not being nasty, but it's how you perceive it. Maybe she's got insurance or something like that. It's how you see people's life. And what I really liked about reading the comments, it was all positive, all about helping, about being kind. It was nothing about negative. But so with that in mind, doesn't it just show that if you just pause for that moment and think before you speak or think before you act, sometimes life can be better. As you know, and the viewers, the regular viewers would know, a couple of years ago, myself and my partner, we were attacked online to some vile people and telling lies and untruths. We didn't respond because we knew it was lies. We knew there was no facts. It was just hearsay. And we just let it go. Yes, I did get the legal team involved with it all, and we were ready to pounce to do the slander defamation and do that. But it was pointless because we knew the truth. Because we were stronger, we were better. Because we knew what was going on. And our friends and our family knew the truth. So these people just sit there feeling sorry for themselves. That's how I look at it. So sometimes it's worth not saying anything, keeping your opinions to yourself, and if you need to judge someone, maybe speak to someone who you can trust if you need to release it. Okay, so the moral of the story is, as the expression goes, as Sarah said, never judge a book by its cover.
Absolutely. Never judge a book by its cover, even though everyone does. And the book cover is designed to draw people in, not necessarily tell the actual story. Trust me, I've been learning that over the last few months. But there's also another saying that I think you're quite right in reading the comments, that has been really, really proven by the SPTV family with their comments. You get out of life what you put into it.
Yeah.
If you put in negativity, if you put in darkness, that's what you're going to get out of it. But if you put in positivity and hope and compassion, that's what you're going to get out of it, because that's exactly what's just happened here. Everyone was commenting, could be rescued, all the various different possibilities. But positive possibilities, someone helpful. The fact is, Richard didn't tell you that the bloke who dropped the pole up at the top of the ladder was the lady's husband. So it was an insurance scam, but that's fine. But there we are. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got another question. Changing subject completely. I'm going to have a little rant now. Can I have a rant?
Richard, have a rant. This is something new that we've never seen before. Please go ahead.
Yeah, right. Can I ask everybody on Facebook, why is it, if all these people watching, only 2 people have been kind enough to share our stream?
Right.
I never get it. I work every single day on SBTV. I push aside private work to give you a production which can give you hope, can give you joy, lift your day up, whatever. And all we ever ask is for you to share. We don't ask you to become VIPs, even though that is optional, but we don't plug it or we don't throw it down your face. All we ask, and it's very, very rare that we will get ever over 20 shares of our shows. It seems as though it's, and I am going to say it, and I'm going to upset a lot of people now, it's selfish. I know some of you can't share. It takes seconds. We're trying to build this channel for you.
Yeah. Once again, we must take every individual situation on its own merit and not judge. There are many reasons why people can't share. Some people get confused. Some people can't see the button. I know, for instance, Mum, she gets really, really frustrated because every time she taps the screen, it disappears, and she doesn't tend to. She's finally learned to comment, but it took a while, didn't it, Mum? So there are certain situations in that, but for the vast majority, there is an element of complacency, forgetfulness. I've forgotten to say share. So while we're on the subject, let's make ourselves a list. Share and react to the show now and any show that you watch, and don't forget to follow on TikTok because we want to go live on there too. But yeah, it is. I think one of the biggest problems that ties in with this opinion and the online stuff, and we do get very forgetful and complacent we just go straight into things. And like for instance, when I'm watching in the evening, I'm usually cooking, so I tend not to comment, and so I'm nowhere near the buttons. If I keep going and tapping on the buttons, I'll get pasta sauce all over the screen. So I tend not to. I go on, I hit share, I then watch. But it does help us, my friends, if you can share, react, and also, don't forget that there are other platforms that we're on too. There's the YouTube, there's the Facebook, and we're trying. Do you know how we're doing with the TikTok, Richard?
Happy birthday to Wendy Watson, who's 50 today, by the way.
Oh, happy birthday, Wendy Watson! Happy birthday to you.
Squash tomatoes in the stew.
So yeah, TikTok's a really, really good one. I did a trial last week, I think it was, where I was going live.
431.
Oh, so it's gone up by about 100 since the last time. But we have still got a ways to go.
Yeah, we've got about 600.
It's about 600 to go. 600 to go. So please, my friends, just tag SPTV UK. That's the handle. It's at SPTV UK. Yep. Tag it in posts, share it. Just go nuts with your sharing. It's that little. See, this is another thing. Not everybody knows necessarily how to share a stream whilst they're in it, because sometimes you have to slide the little top bar where you're commenting across to actually get the share thing, but you're looking for a little curvy arrow. Click on that and then to feed. That's all it takes. But we did, in fairness, Karen did say she wanted us to, me and Richard, to do a show purely on using social media for the benefit of either posting or watching. And one of the things that we tend to find is people don't always know how to do these things. So maybe we should, Richard.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. I just got a message I'm going to respond to, Jordan Riley. Hi, Jordan. Nice to see you again, my old friend.
Hi, Jordan.
When I first started SPTV, one of the first people came on watching us regularly. I believe he's doing his own readings now. So we'll have to get you on, Jordan, at one point to say hello. But his question is there anything that could be made where people can put their reviews on the site? Yes, there were. On Facebook, we had an area called reviews. And I decided this morning, late last night, that the reviews were being abused by many people out there. It could be people going on, put a negative comments about the hosts on SBTV, could be comments regarding the so-called love doctors, which we had most of as spam from other religious places, putting down the faith on others. And it was getting abused quite a bit. Even though you can report it to Facebook and then block the individual, it's time consuming. So I decided late last night, first thing this morning, that I will actually turn off the review section. Even though we had hundreds of wonderful reviews on the page, and it was lovely to have them. By all means, write a review in the comments or something, and I'll put them on our website and whatever. But it was about time that that section was taken down because of the lack of respect from other people's belief and faith, and that's why I took it down.
Yeah. There are those that deliberately use it to demonstrate a lack of respect to our way of life. There are, as you say, the gossip mongers and those that. But one of the things that I find, I've had bots leave a review for me. I had a bot, and it was so blatantly a bot. And it's really, really strange that the internet is reviewing its own content now. I believe that would be called monopolizing in the physical world. I don't know what we could call it here on cyberspace, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you throw out that possibility for review, you sometimes you're going to get genuine critique, and that's important because that's where we can. And Richard's always inviting genuine critique, because one of the things that
absolutely, we need feedback so we can improve our shows.
This is a short notepad for today's show. My list of things to get through and discuss: announcements, special announcements, competitions, who's coming up, what's going on. And very often it would be a case of Richard says, ask people for feedback. What do people want? What are we doing right? What do we need to do? Did you enjoy that? I mean, the amount of requests for reviews we've been putting out there about the Zoom facility in the last 2 or 3 weeks since we've been using it. We do invite polite critique. But funny you should mention that, Tony.
We do it after. We just do Cape May, and then we can do that after Cape
May. Funny you should mention that, Tony. We are about to find out in a little bit of a time. Tony has said who was the lucky winner of Nick's book. We will be finding out shortly. But yeah, it is a shame that you had to reach that decision about removing the reviews. But it does get so abused, and not just by people, but by actual computer programs decide to start putting abuse and ridicule on. It's a strange world in which we live in, but it all rotates around that central ideology of different views. And if we can just pause, reflect, and consider for a brief moment on what we say, what we do, how we behave, we can make a huge change in this world. But yeah, it's a shame about the reviews. I knew you were going to get it in, mate. Even when you said I'm not going to say anything today, I thought it's going to come up because they want it to. But there we are. It is a shame, but if it's just being used and abused, sometimes it's good to just silence it, isn't it, Richard?
Yeah, it is. It's a shame because there were some loads of reviews, but what people were using it for was personal attacks. Because people can't comment, and we can go along and delete them without any issues and ban them. But when you leave a review, you can't. You have to go via Facebook, and Facebook are bots, and they never respond. They're a terrible organisation for the lack of communication, and it makes you laugh because they're a platform about communication who don't communicate themselves. And but that's another story. Let's not get into that in case we get blocked again, because they seem to like blocking this channel. So that was one of the reasons, but it's done now. We move forward, we carry on. And we've got lots of new shows coming up, new positive things happening on the channel, and that's the way forward. The channel's there to support, to create a community. There are so many pages out there like SBTV, but in my view, I don't think that they are community based. A lot of it is for selfishness, about ego, and about money. Especially, there's a couple of channels I know of, it's just money, 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 money. That's all they care about. Where we don't. Our channel is about community and bringing people together.
We don't, because we do care about money. It's just that we're not asking for it every 5 minutes of the day. I certainly care about being able to pay my rent, but I don't care about anything else. And it is absolutely true, Richard. When it becomes all about, it goes back to what we started with, doesn't it, Richard? It's about the whole center of the gossipy thing. It's simply a matter of being in the spotlight, being the center of attention, grandstanding, look at me, and then that turns into a currency, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And that's the difference. But there we go.
Yeah.
Paul, Luke, Gauchard, we are on for first time tomorrow. Excellent stuff.
At 6:30 on the community show. If you don't know what that is, the community show, the showcase community, I think is where we allow the general public to come on and strut their stuff. Basically. So they could be readings, could be mediumship, you could be a newbie, could be advanced, you could be just reading poems, you could be talking about your point of view, you may be interested in angels and talking about angels, you could be interested in crystals, want to talk about crystals. It's whatever you want. Yeah. It's like Britain's got talent, even though they have people from all over the world, which is really weird, but it's for people to come on and
the world's got spirit.
Yeah, and show what they can do. And we give that platform to anybody, from an advanced person to a complete newbie, or someone who just wants to air your views. And it's actually quite nerve-wracking, because my finger's always on the mute button just in case, because you don't know what they're going to say and what they do. So you have to be very, very careful. You give them a prep talk, of course, at the beginning.
It is really, really hard as a host sometimes to mute yourself. I mean, I know I wouldn't have necessarily got in trouble because it was quite mild what I nearly called you earlier, but sometimes it starts to slip through and you can't help yourself. But it's taken a long time for me to self-mute. It's part of development as a medium as well as being on here, because I get away with more on the platform than I do online, which is, hilarious. But I do know that these guys are going to strut their stuff tomorrow night. It's going to be awesome. So do join the community showcase. Carol Phillips says this channel makes us feel like individuals, and that we are cared for. You are, and we do. Well, Richard, it's been fun chatting, but
45 minutes non-stop.
I know. So we must crack on, because I've got some work to do. And also, everyone needs to hear what's coming up in their week. Paul and Luke, nerves are a good thing, because it makes you feel in a position where you are going to make sure you do your very best. And I know you will. Seen you guys work before. We've chatted for ages. We've never actually met. I can't say that I know you personally, but I like your style and I think you'll do grand, so don't worry about it. Don't sweat the small stuffs, because he's going to be looking after you. But you might even be able to get a hint of how your week's going to go with the wonderful Kate May. So I can't pass it on, and I can't ask you to say it, so I'll say it myself this week. Roll 'em, Richard.
Good morning, everybody. I'm working from a hotel room this weekend, so wow, I don't know if you can see much mess. Tried not to show you. Anyway, let's have a look. My name's Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. You can catch me, book a reading or tuition on www.katemaymystic.com. katemay.co.uk. Let's have a look for your week ahead tarot readings. We're going to hit with Aries for the week ahead. It is the King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords is all about perhaps you're going to get some advice or guidance from someone who isn't emotionally attached to you. So you could be looking at a solicitor, a lawyer, counsellor, or maybe a consultant or doctor. Somebody who they know what they're talking about, and they're going to come in this week to give you some sound advice. He also represents yourself having to step back from emotional situations and be logical. Use your head, not your heart, for any choices this week. Taurus, we've got the 10 of Cups. Feeling fabulous this week, Taurus. Happy ever after. Emotionally content, successful, and like everything is just coming together this week for you, Taurus. There could be happy family news or completions happen around your home area which make you feel good. Gemini, the 5 of Cups. Now, it's going to be really important this week, Gemini, that you look at the cup half full, not half empty. You could easily focus on the losses or emotional situations that could get you a little bit down. But look around you. There are some amazing reasons to stay happy and stay positive. You are what you attract. Cancer, 3 of Wands. Now, here you've got planning, commitment, and taking things. You're reaching positive milestones this week, Cancerians, and you're taking things to the next level. So you're ready to step up the pace. You're ready to move forward, and you can see clearer this week around what's in front of you, allowing you to move mountains and shift things. Travel plans or projects that you're working on will really be able to move ahead this week, Cancerians. But there's a feeling of ready for the next step in your life. Leo, Page of Pentacles. Now, you might find this week, Leo, that your attention turns to money or finances or material property, things where there's tangible connections. Now, Leo, here we're looking at the possibilities of new things. So it may be a new idea or a new opportunity, but it's just the possibility. The foundation is there ready, but you might have to do a little bit more. It's like a seed in the material world, but you're going to have to plant it if it's going to do anything. Otherwise, it just stays as a fabulous idea. Good news should be coming though around your finances. Virgo, Queen of Money, Queen of Pentacles. You should be feeling this week, Virgo, like you can manage everything. You're on top of everything. You're organised and you're getting things ready. There's a sense of decluttering. There's a sense of just getting thoroughly organised, to be honest. Good business sense comes in this week, and it may be where you're helping others as well as helping yourself. So you could be doing being a little bit bossy, but or being a bit organised for everyone else there, Virgos. But the sense is that you're on top of your finances, you're on top of things, and this week you should feel very comfortable and very secure because you are feeling that you've got everything in order. Okay, so Libra is next, Queen of Wands, Libra. This is a great week to be motivated, to be excited, to find a little bit of oomph coming. Now, you might find there's an excited woman around you, excited female, somebody who's going to be passionate, someone who's going to encourage you, support you, and take you from one stage to another. It may be yourself, that you've done some work on yourself and you're now ready to step up this week, Libra. You're ready to take things to the next level, and you're more in charge of situations. Really a good week for encouragement, drive, passion this week, Libra. And I want to say feeling a little bit more assertive this week. You're not going to take any rubbish this week, Libra. You're feeling more assertive. Okay. Excuse me. Scorpio. Worry card, Scorpio. Try not to worry. You might find that you've got lots of things on your mind. You could overthink, and then it turns into anxiety there. So this card comes up for me when you're worried and stressed, but unnecessarily. So try to put all your concerns to one side. Trust the process. Leave it to God and the angels. And Sagittarius, 9 of Cups, feeling happy, feeling contented, feeling blessed, feeling like your cat's got your cream. You're feeling good about your choices this week, Sagittarius. Everything is comfortable and settled for you, and there's a good sense of like you're achieving things, you're on the right path. Capricorn, King of Wands. Capricorn, you're feeling in charge, you're feeling in order, you're feeling like you've got the boss man there, but also you're ready to help others. You're in a good position to support and help others. Now, you might find, Capricorn, that somebody does come around you to support you, to aid you, to lead the way as well, or to give you some great advice. Good advice is coming for you this week, Capricorns. It also, for me, indicates, again, enthusiasm, power, drive, that you've got a little bit of oomph about you this week, got a bit of excitement going on this week, and you're feeling very successful, and so you should. Aquarius, got the star, your own card, Aquarius. Feeling happy. This is a great card. New beginnings. Some of you will be having birthdays this week. New beginnings, fresh starts. Feeling like you've got everything falling into place. There's hope, there's optimism, and everything's just realigning for you. But the feeling around me, Aquarians, is like a new beginning here, a fresh start to do some new exciting and wonderful things, and just feeling a bit healthier, feeling a bit more contented within yourself, having that inner peace this week, Aquarians. Good news though, good news. If you've been waiting for things to happen, Aquarians, this is great news. Everything's starting to fall into place for you. Pisces, lovers. Choices and decisions this week, Pisces. Things that will need communicating between you and a loved one. Perhaps you're single and you're going to meet the love of your life. The Lovers card can be a soulmate connection there. So get out and about and see who you're going to meet there. It is a card of choice and decisions though. Something where even if you did meet someone, there may be something that you'll need to discuss in order to progress forward there. So choices and decisions around relationships or around partnerships or within a couple of some kind is going to be strong for you this week. You could be weighing things up there. It does indicate laying bare, so be open, be honest, don't hold anything back, be truthful in your communication, and literally put your cards, lay your cards on the table there, and you'll get your best answers. So there you have it, this week ahead tarot readings. Have a fabulous week, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
And we are back. Thank you to the wonderful Kate May sending in that clip, because of course she's also been having a good old wild time this weekend too at Spirit Quest. I have to make sure I get it right. Julia's just commented on just before the Kate May tarot scope there. I enjoyed doing the community showcase and very thankful to show what my spirit group do. And this is the thing, you know, I think very much, Richard, we've been preaching to the converted. Not that I preach, I try not to anyway, but sometimes you just gotta get on your bandstand and say your thing. And I think so long as we do it in a fair and polite way, that is the way to go. Now, friends, time is a wasting, and I've got some work to do because I've got to communicate with the world of spirit for you. And I'm gonna throw it out there. If you'd like to come and join on Zoom to get a reading, you're welcome to come along and join me. Share the screen, come and say hello to everyone. You don't have to, I will mix it up. But if you'd like to come along, Richard will be sharing the link in just a second there. If he hasn't done already, I'm sure he probably has. It's probably bookmarked. He's doing that right now. But of course, in order to give you a chance to get on if you'd wish to come on, we are going to see what's coming up on SPTV for the rest of the day and coming up soon.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
Join Minty May live tonight from 8 p.m, offering tarot and mediumship readings to our viewers.
And the lovely Minty will be on, of course, tonight at 8, where you can find out who wins his prize from last week, as well as Stacey's book. One special announcement, of course, we've got the lovely Sarah at 4:30 today. Sarah Andrews will be on. There was no advert because there just wasn't. But she will be on at 4:30, so do come along and support her at 4:30, and then of course Minty tonight at 8. And so let's see who is in the world of spirit. Does anyone want to come on? They're more than welcome to join. If not, I will just crack on and see who's about. And instantly, as I say that, there's a whole queue of people stood behind me right now. Let me find out who wants to go for. Oh, me. Okay, me. Right, I've got someone who's really, really excitable about wanting to be first. Okay, so this is someone who did enjoy being the focus, not in the way we were talking earlier, of course, but has been listening patiently to what's been said. It's right. Okay, it's my time now. This lady, as she comes forward, she's actually wearing a hat. It's not fancy. It's not frilly. It's a practical hat. You know, almost shaped like a trilby, but even more basic than that. She was a very natural, down to earth lady. Someone who I would describe as a Mother Earth type, really in tune with nature, really in tune with the world. This is why she's enjoyed watching the show and watching your comments, because she's really into this sort of thing. She's I'm really into this sort of thing, really love it, and she's really excitable. She's a very comfortable lady, very relaxed, and as I said, down to earth. Isn't interested in being the center of attention as in terms of, you know, appearances and other deceits, but about being part of the conversation, because she really is tying it in. If there's going to be a conversation and opinions are going to be shared, I'm more than happy to share mine, she says. So she's wearing this hat, and I do feel it would have been part of her character. It would have been a familiar feature that she would have worn. She's, as I said, well padded. I would say she looks probably late 50s, 60s. I keep saying Mother Earth, but she was a very motherly lady. I feel maternal, but not in blood. So it's this kind of adopted mum. She would have been, yeah, she keeps giving me this vision of a kind of an explorer. And whilst I don't think she was what's the word for someone who digs things up? Begins with an A. Thank you. That was not the voice in my head. That was the voice of Richard. Whilst I don't believe she would have been an archaeologist, she would have been that kind of type of personality and even the kind of appearance of an archaeologist, because I feel her being really, really happy with her elbows deep in mud, really, really down and dirty. She wasn't interested in, you know, keeping things clean when she was getting on with stuff. So if anyone who's watching can understand this lady so far, please do shout out. I do know there would have been a problem with the speech because I keep tripping over my tooth. Rebecca Whelan says, my grandma, she wore hats, very spiritual. Tony Coppins says, oh, sounds like my mum. There would have been a problem with the speech. There would have been this whole, as much as I said, I don't feel she was an archaeologist, there's an understanding of the past with her, and a real interest in the past with her. As she comes forward, I do feel something here that would have related to her passing. So whether it would have been the lung or the heart, I'm not sure, because it feels a little bit more reached out there. But obviously the pain there can be connected with the heart attack. So I do feel that it was in this area here that would have been the reason why she passed. Again, the speech is becoming a problem again. And thank you. When she was feeling a little bit saucy, a little bit naughty, or when she was trying to make a point, it's almost like she would purse her lips, like, oh, you know, a cross between blowing a kiss and a bit of a, why am I trying to quote people that I can't remember? Not matron, no, put it away. The other one, up Pompeii. Kenneth Williams, thank you. Yeah. No, not Kenneth Williams, the other one. Up. Everyone knows who I mean, but can't remember his name. Google it later. But yeah, the up. Tony says she was an adopted mum, not my real mum. This pursing of the lips is important. It's an important feature. I need to decide between Rebecca and Tony here. Give me. Pardon? Frankie Howard. That's it, Frankie Howard. The name either the name Frankie or the name Howard would also connect around one of you two. That's why, you know, he had to come into my head, I'm sure. But there is that pursing of the lips that, oh, you know, it's kind of like a droopy pursing of the lips. It wasn't, you know, pucker. Tony says, yes, I can take that. She had lots wrong with her. Nurse. Okay. Oh, and Natalie Mitchell's just jumped in there with could be my mum. Sounds like and she had lung cancer and passed of a heart attack. Oh, right, okay. And the colours, I know I talked about earthy tones, but for some reason I keep seeing this really, really beigey green colour, almost like overalls. So if one of you could understand those as well, that should pin it down, and then we can see what she's got to say. But whilst you're, you know, replying to that, I don't know whether it's her or whether it's the person I'm speaking to. I have just got problems with every single joint in my body right now, and I do feel it's more directed to you, the person I'm talking to. My knuckles feel very arthritic. My neck feels completely torn to shreds, and I'm feeling like I'm like hunching forward and want to sit like this all the time. And this is something that you will have done recently, and this position with the hands here is important. Bless you. At least I know God agrees with me, if nobody else, eh? But it's this hunching over, and it's almost like she's saying, I've been watching, and we won't be having any of this. We won't be having any of this. As she said, it's not about feeling sorry for yourself. It's about standing up for yourself and not letting the physical take over the emotional, because she was very in tune with the mind. She was very in tune with her thoughts. And yes, we've identified very spiritual, but on a really grounded basis as well. Oh, okay. And my sinuses are blocking up now, so I know there's a problem with sinuses as well. The reason she's come through is to bring that pick me up and, stop feeling sorry for yourself. It's the kind of way she would have done it that made you feel like it wasn't saying stop feeling sorry for yourself, because she would encourage you and recognize. Thank you. Now it makes sense. I was getting a little bit grumpy. Natalie, my mum had arthritis as well and diabetes. Natalie, would you understand that you've been feeling this? Seriously, everywhere hurts, right? If I try one more time to, get more information to separate you out, it's just going to take too long, and I'm not going to get around anybody else, because you know what I'm like, I'm stubborn. But just listen to this, and if this applies to you, then it's obviously for you. One of those three people. And it could well be that it's all three of you, the way spirit work. I don't like doing it like that. I like to know where I'm going, and I'm sure she'll give me something in a moment. Oh, one of you feels a little bit drunk. It could be the medication, or it could be that you were at Spirit Quest last night. But there's this feeling of yeah, okay, thank you. Get rid of that. Thank you. It's that feeling of a hangover. That feeling of this is what one of you are experiencing, and for you, I say this lady was very, very good at saying, yes, I understand, and addressing the problem, but saying, but you can deal with it. You can make that change. You can stand up for yourself. She would encourage you to be the best person you could possibly be. And just by that glint in her eye and that slight, there's a slight tick around her eye as she smiles. It's kind of like the eye twitches a little bit. With that little twitch and that little grin, not very toothy, not a very toothy grin, very subtle. She would make you suddenly realize that you can, and that you are able, and that you are worthy. And this is her kind of pick me up of the day. She says the show's called Start Your Day. This is about starting again and never giving an inch and not surrendering yourself to struggle, because you are way better and much more capable than that. And thank you. There have been questions asked that have not been answered by professionals that you need to chase and deal with. Chase, chase, chase. Do not be ground down with the difficulty of the situation. Go and fight your corner and ask the questions again. So I hope that makes sense to one of you. A lovely, lovely lady, really, really, keen to get in there straight away. But I hope that helps, and I'll say God bless you and thank you for listening. Quick rinse. Thank you. Okay. Excellent. I have a gentleman coming through now, and he's a little bit more subdued, a lot more sage. As he steps forward, he's not as excitable. Don't get me wrong, he's excited, but he's the kind of person who would withhold a lot of emotion and would be very well balanced at being part of the conversation. I'm being drawn to the hymn book that's sitting on my table in front of me, and he's saying, "Oh, I'll have a look at that later." So I know that he would have been involved in some way with hymn books as a memory link, either as being part of a choir or a congregation, or maybe even a leader. Yeah, that's the one. A leader of a congregation. So I know this person was involved in some way of a religious nature, of leading people in prayer or hymn, something like that. He's very tall, very thin. As he stands in front of me, oh, thank you. He's a lot clearer facially than the lady was. As he draws closer, oh, I wish I got a pen and paper. I'd have drawn you a picture. He's got a very thin face. clean shaven, although towards the end of his life, that was the thing that you noticed because he stopped shaving. His hair comes to a point up here, very, very short, but still long enough to be swept backwards. And it's got that shape there as it comes. There's a tiny little tuft there. He had large eyes, pronounced. It's kind of like some people have really, really tiny eyelids. This gentleman had big eyelids, and his eyes were seemingly slightly further forward. I do know that because he was quite thin, he would have you would have been able to have seen the bone around his eyes and on his cheekbones. It's not that he was gaunt or too skinny. It's just that he had a very prominent eye, prominent eyebrows just there. The bone, you could see it, especially towards the end of his life. In spite of this very thin appearance, Andrea, 54, Hector. If this description is what he looked like, James Dean, Andrea, may I work with you? You would understand about the subtleties of how he withheld his emotions in terms of a little bit about appearances, but I kind of get him really. You sometimes have to set yourself apart from the emotion so that you can be there to help others. There were people, Andrew, you would understand, that would say sometimes he was a little bit too distant, but he wasn't. He really, really wasn't. He just had to put that barrier of silence between him and others so he could be helpful, so he could be someone who was, the theme of the day, trustworthy, someone who would listen. You said that he was a pastor of Christian New Life Church. That's why he was looking at my hymn book and saying, "Oh, I'll have to have a nosy at that in a bit." I don't think he would have been overly convinced by this way of life in his earthly times. And he's trying really not to be convinced by it now, but he's telling that as, oh, humor. He's saying that as a bit of a joke. He says, I didn't quite believe in what you were up to when I was here. Still not entirely sure I am. But it's kind of like there's this grin on his face when he says it. So there are a lot of people who were unsure about him because he had to keep this level of professionalism. Wow. Andrea, bless your heart. He just passed away on Monday. No wonder he's still not 100% sure of what's going on, because it's going to be a huge, for all of us, when we get over there, it's a huge learning curve because we find out all the things we were right about. We also find out all the things we were wrong about. But you would also understand, Andrea, that he was open enough to that concept that he's already a few steps ahead of that process. The fact is he's coming through. So that humor is, thank you, the humor is what carried him through. The humor is what pushed him forward, because when he wasn't this public figure, he had such a crafty sense of humor. And it's almost like he would entertain himself by having little games whilst he was working. Bless you, Andrea. Bless you. He would have these little games to keep himself entertained while he was working. So you're giving away all of my secrets now. Sometimes when I'm doing a demo or doing an address, if I'm wanting to cheer someone up in the congregation, I will play a little game with them, like pick a word and I've got to get it into the address, or I've got to get it in somewhere as part of the service, just to give them something to giggle at and give me something to, smile about internally, to keep me grinning all the time. And he's finding that quite funny because he would do the same thing. In actual fact, would you understand that he would have done something similar to that with you or someone close to you? If you don't understand it, that's fine, but there's just something about that kind of playing a little bit and having these secret giggles, because he really does want to thank you, he's reminding me of your picture and how the light is behind you. And we in this way of life frequently refer to them as God rays. His great-grandson passed 2 days before he passed. Oh, bless you. Life can be... Breathe, he says. Life can be ridiculous. Life can be ridiculous. It's almost like sometimes he would get ready to say something that he shouldn't, and then he would just take a deep breath, pull it back in, and start again. And that's what he wants to be remembered for. Not, as you said, the past, but for who he is, who he was towards the end of his life, but who he is now. And I'm being drawn back to this picture of you with the God rays behind you. And he's saying, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. Okay. So this is where I have some fun, because they start quoting chapter and verse at me. I'm not going to quote chapter and verse at you, but I am going to say there is a passage that starts with a light at my feet. So a lamp at my feet and a light on my path. That would have been quite important to him. And he's saying that was true. That was true. There was a lamp at my feet. There was a light on my path. And there will always be one for you and yours, Andrea. There will always be one for you and yours. The fact that he's come through so close to his passing shows a level of openness that is really, really wonderful. And I keep getting this habit of, bringing people through on this show, at least, who've not been gone that long. Oh, okay, told off. I'm not gone. I really am not gone. And I am watching and know, okay, little bit of mechanics here. It's not summoning. I'm the one who summons, he says. I'm the one who summons. And I get that. I get that. And I will stand behind you, and I will stand behind everyone else, and I will fight your corner so long as you stand your ground and be you. And I will say, God bless, Andrea, and hope that helps. What a wonderful, wonderful guy. What a wonderful, wonderful guy he is. OMG. Yeah, I have moments like that too. You never stop getting an OMG with the stuff they give you. Andrea, I hope that helps. And I'll say, God bless you, and have a quick rinse. Okay. Oh, bless you, Andrea. You're very welcome. As I connect in with the next person, I am very much aware that my throat is going a little bit dry, and I have had a couple of coughs there. Oh, hello. I have a lady stepping forward. Oh my word, she was a powerhouse. This lady, as she stepped forward, I'm seeing Oh, wonderful flowing dresses, bright colors, beautiful, very delicate, thin materials, not lace. Although there is some lace there. Um, very, very thin, almost see-through, but grouped up. Really, really bright and colorful. There would be oranges, there would be reds, there would be greens. Wonderful swooping rolls of fabric that she wore, very, very bright and colorful, very, very light and airy, and it's very reminiscent of her as a person. It's almost like when she wore something, it became part of her, and as she walked and flowed, it would walk and flow. She's got very dark hair. There are some really quite beautiful natural curls, lucky lady. And these big, beautiful dark eyes, as she's just got such this really, really warm and yet slightly cheeky grin as she stands there. When I compliment her curls, she gets a little bit embarrassed. Obviously, she doesn't have those curls anymore. She's just remembering them. But she was always proud of those natural waves and curls in her hair. And I know that there is an understanding and interest or being drawn to Eastern cultures and Eastern mythology and Eastern religions with her. Um, I don't feel she was overly tall, but she was a right royal firecracker, I tell you that much. She's such inner spirit and an understanding of people and the world in which we live, and such a beautiful singing voice as well. I do feel very grandmotherly with this lady, but I do feel she feels a bit too young to be a grandmother, if the truth be told. I know we stereotype things, but she feels far too young to be a grandmother. But for me, that means that she would have passed way too soon, or she discovered the secret to eternal youth and she looked a lot younger than she actually was. Um, oh, okay, yeah. She's also talking about that nursery rhyme about rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. Um, hey, Michelle. Michelle, sorry. Yeah, I'm terrible at reading when I'm working. She's singing about rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. And as she shows me the rings on her fingers, she's got these wonderfully perfect nails. Reverend Tony would like those ones. Um, Beautiful painted, and such a beautiful mystique and mystery about her. And although she is this wonderfully calm, inner spirited person, again, I get that naughty, naughty grin back. If anyone can understand this lady, please do let me know. I've got to take my glasses off for a second, so I'll have to get a little bit closer to the screen, because she doesn't like being restricted. And this is part of her personality, this free spirit flowing. And this is why we've got the rings and the bells and the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful flowing fabrics. And I do feel as though she is someone's grandmother. But again, very, very young to show that. And I feel with her, even though she was a right firecracker and a powerful woman, I'm feeling a lot of pain around her back. I know that it was a struggle to stand up. Is anyone able to understand this, Lady Richard? Okie dokie. I've got to say, Michelle Khan, you came up on the screen just after I'd said about the lovely smile. She got your smile. I don't know whether you'd understand this lady. Maybe you straighten your hair because she's just laughed. Too straight hair, too straight hair. But she had these wonderful flowing curls. Oh, hang on. Helps if you put your glasses back on, Nick, if you want to read things. Serena Galvin sounds a bit like my nan. Would you understand this pain across the back of the shoulders, passing way too young, being a free spirit, the wonderful flowing clothes? If you can understand all that, then just let me know. It could very well be. You would using that comment about too straight hair, you would understand that either that's a memory link with her or you, because she keeps going on about loving these curls, and somebody has got too straight hair, whether it would have been her when somebody did it for her, or whether it's yourself. Too straight, don't like it. Get the curls back, she's saying. And I keep going back to the throat as well. She doesn't talk about her illnesses. I got a bit of a frown there. She says, we don't do that. We do not talk about our illnesses. And then she just batters her eyelashes. I know I mentioned she got really big eyes, beautiful eyelashes. Or at least that's what she. My nan's from Poland, but no curls. The way you said too straight hair is how she would have spoke. Okay. When I say curls, I don't mean like really, really tight ones. I mean those natural, wavy, would you understand that her hair went, because, spirit come from all over the world. I tend not to see, the country of origin because she's speaking in my mind. So language is wonderfully never a barrier. I am reminded that I do know a few words from the Polish language that I shouldn't. And again, I'm getting that, grin again. You would understand that you have her smile and that she had this wonderful, it was either wavy curl or it would have been the way she brushed it. It was kind of like up and down and then like that is how, and the way I said too straight is how she would have spoke. The two that I've addressed, if you want to listen, just let me know if you can understand that. Towards the end of her life, and I keep going back to this throat thing, we would have noticed that she would have covered it up a little bit. What it was to do with her health, she would have covered it up and would have started drinking more fluids. And so, oh, I'm fine. We don't talk about things like this, I'm fine. And it's because everything was always about everybody else, is what I'm getting from her. And thank you. It got harder for her to cover things up because I'm starting to feel like my eyes would have been very heavy, cold sweats. And so would have sat like that. And it's like, no, I'm just interested. Sat with her arms crossed and trying to cover it up. No, I'm just interested. I'm concentrating. Because she would never admit to feeling pain. She would never admit to feeling in difficulty, because it was always about making people feel comfortable and safe, and that I was the one that would, help people. So if you can understand that, because whoever she wants to talk to, whether it, I have to admit, I was drawn to you, Michelle. It's about lightening up, because that was her nature. This wonderful, I tell you what, the dress she's wearing looks like. If anyone's ever watched Absolutely Fabulous, it's Patsy Stone's mum. The dress is, very similar to that. And it's about lightening up and enjoying yourself. And yes, I was opinionated, and yes, I had my thoughts, but life was about living, and life is about living, and life should be lived. I hope you can understand that. Been a bit. She was a bit disconnected from somebody close in the family, because there seems to be areas locked off that I'm not allowed to address and talk about. And it's not because she refuses, it's because, not my place, she says, not my place, not my place, not my place. It's almost like sometimes she would be, let me Google the dress, bless you. Yeah, Patsy Stone's mum, from Absolutely Fabulous. It's that kind of design, that style, that wonderful flowing, restful. Very unlike Patsy Stone's mum, though. She would have been very cautious about offending certain people, and she certainly wouldn't want to air her linen. So I know that there was a difficulty and a difference with someone who's still on the earth plane. But she doesn't want to make a big thing about it. The problem with her is that by not wanting to make a big thing out about it, it's become a big thing because of how it's been mentioned. And sometimes she was a woman of contradictions. With that really, really, stubborn comment of, too straight. And a bit of a finger wagger as well. But it's all about the personal relationships we have with people. So, Michelle, I hope you can understand that. She doesn't want to labor the difficulties. What she wants you to do is just enjoy and dance and be happy. And you are the one that should have your rings on your fingers and bells on your toes right now. I understand there's some kind of celebration coming up in the next couple of weeks, something to be really, really happy about, and let your hair down, but don't straighten it too much. And I'll say, God bless you, and hope that helps. And you'll have to let me know if you find Patsy Stone's mum and see what I mean about the style of clothing, the flowing. And I'll say, God bless you, and thank you for listening. Well, it does but leave me to do one final task of the day, and that is to announce the winner of the book. Boom, 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 boom. It's me. um, has the person who's won been on today, Richard, by the way? Hang on. Let me do the, because I'd love them to be on here. Right. Yeah, that was my concern. That was my concern. Um, yeah. So she is on. That's good, because I don't want to announce it and then I have to go and tag around and then find it. Right. So yeah. So the winner is, are you listening? Sit back and relax. Wendy Watson, are you there? Because you have won. Now you've got an option. Yeah, because of yeah, because I've got to get the pictures up, you see. So you get to choose. There's this one, yeah, or the Distant Healing book, and then there's also another one that I've misplaced, but they're available. It's here. It's another journal, and it's the Independent Spiritualists Alliance journal. It's a blue cover with the logo on. So you've got a choice of that gentleman there, the Distant Healing book there, or the journal. So if you want to let us know which one you want, and then get in touch with your details, I can send it directly to you. But congratulations to Wendy Watson, the winner. So yes, the astrology pack from Stace will be announced by Stace in her own show. Karen and I are back together on Wednesday. Yeah, because it's our alternate week. Yeah, 10:30 on Wednesday. So I would imagine Karen will announce her winner on Wednesday. And of course, Minty on at 8 o'clock tonight will announce his winner tonight as well. So lots going on. I do hope you've all had a lovely, lovely, lovely day. I certainly have enjoyed your company. And don't forget, Sarah Andrews is at 4:30 tonight, not 6, 4:30. I'm really terrible at telling the time, but even I can remember that one. 4:30 tonight with Sarah Andrews, followed by Minty at 8. I am about to go and have a quick swig of drink and a rest before I do a workshop. But on behalf of us all at SPTV, have a wonderful afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Congratulations to Wendy. God bless you all, and we'll see you all soon.